going on, homie? Technical difficulties. Couldn't get stupid headphones to connect. But it's on and popping. We good to go now. Yeah, I mean, you're in the Arctic. You're all wrapped up.
Right?
We're rolling, by the way. Yeah, but you're wrapped up like you're back in Jersey in December.
I tried to trim my beard up myself, and I look like Mose from The Office.
That's
Cousin
the bartender. Is that the bartender?
No, cousin Mose, Dwight Schrute's cousin.
Oh, you said that. You said Mose, and I thought Mose, like Moses, welcome to Mose. You know that my brain went to there. I had Simpsons on the mind. Anyway, another week. Welcome back to Crack Bags. How's everybody doing? Everybody good? Anybody get vaccinated yet? They say we're going to be done by May.
It's happening, man. It's happening. They said they're opening up Texas. The UFC is talking about having an event down there and selling it out in the stadium. Sports is coming back.
Yeah, all-star game for baseball, full capacity.
Yep. We're getting there.
Have fans soon.
The Knicks have fans already. The Knicks have about, I think it's 2,500 fans. Mm-hmm. Fans and family are in there, but they still have the piped-in noise as well. It's kind of weird. The Knicks are about to tip off right now, actually. The last game before the All-Star break, actually. But, basketball's in full swing. We're about to slide into draft mode in the NFL. Yeah, the little lull between the Super Bowl and the draft, before we get March Madness to kind of occupy our minds a little bit. The combine would have been happening right now, but without the combine, they've been having a lot of the pro days,
personal workouts.
Exactly. The combine already is the underwear Olympics. This is like underwear Olympics light. When you're going, everything's scripted, the whole nine. But, what can you do? You're trying to get as much information as you possibly can. A lot of rumblings about Zach. Not Zach, I'm sorry. What's the kid from BYU again? I don't know why.
Zach Wilson.
It is Zach, right? I was even doubting myself.
The one time you actually got it.
The one time I get it right. When I get it right, it didn't feel right. It felt weird. Moving up to one. Some people are saying it. It's a hot take on there. How are you guys feeling? I know the two of you don't like him. And I know for a fact that Enrique doesn't want him. Getz thinks he's 5'1", and I know you've had some complimentary things about his arm, but why is he jumping to one? Everybody's talking. He's the hot one. No one's talking about Trevor Lawrence right now.
You know what it is? Is exactly what you just said. It's a dead time. There's no combine. There's no football going on. So all these guys sit there and watch film. They want to think they're reinventing the wheel. And now somebody's going to try and make their reputation off saying that this kid is better than Trevor Lawrence. Yeah. And, who knows? If he has a good couple years, the first couple years out of the gate, then there'd be one or two guys that can go back and be like, oh, I called it. I said this guy was going to be better than Trevor Lawrence. That's all it is.
Yeah, I don't see him. He's not jumping. He's not. Get a little sip action going on there. I know you got a beverage. He's not jumping. He's not jumping Trevor Lawrence. It starts getting interesting at 2.
Big shout out to the Evan Williams Brewing Company for this tasty bourbon.
If the Jets are going to stay at 2 or not, that's where it starts getting interesting here. Any hot takes? Any movement? What do you think is going to happen? Are the Jets going to stay at 2?
If they're smart, they trade down.
Yeah. Because you have when you see the GM will make a quote, right? But then you have media people interpreting the same quote both ways. He'll say something, half the media says the Jets are trading Darnold, then the other half are saying that doesn't mean they're trading Darnold. So, I mean, it's,
The New York media has always been ridiculous. Unless he comes out and says, we're not trading Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold's going to be the starter next year. They'll be like,
keep talking about it.
He's open to trading Darnold.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
I'll give you a hot take. I've been on. You see the hat I have on right now. I got the Falcons hat. I've been on the Falcons taking a quarterback for as long as we've been talking about draft on here. I don't think it's happening anymore. They're rolling the dice. They're going to stay with Matt another year. I think we're taking Sewell at 4. The freaking big left tackle.
He ain't going to make it there.
There's the first
4.
Absolutely, he's going to make it to 4. Trevor Lawrence goes first.
Yeah, they're saying 3 quarterbacks may go top 3.
1, 2, 3 is quarterbacks. The Jets are not staying at 2. They can say whatever the hell they want. they're not staying at 2. If they're keeping Sam Darnold, they're moving down. They're getting a bunch of picks, and whoever's moving up to 2 is not moving up for Sewell. The Dolphins are not. They took a left tackle last year. They're not going to do it again. Atlanta's sitting pretty at 4. We're getting our left tackle. Move your boy Matthews over to the right side and see if he can actually protect Matt for once.
I know that's wishful thinking for you, but I don't think that's going to happen.
There's not. We can put any kind of bet you want here. Sewell will be there at 4 easily, and maybe even later if we move down. Quarterbacks are going first, man. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, and maybe 4 if Atlanta moves. First 4 picks off the board are going to be quarterbacks.
I'll be really pissed if the Eagles take a quarterback, and then if they actually trade up to take a quarterback, I'll be fucking livid. The last thing we need right now is a quarterback. We have too many positions with no star power, no talent, and that's why the quarterback fucking sucked last year because the whole rest of the team was garbage. The whole offensive line was out. The defense is terrible, and now we're going to take another quarterback. It just makes no sense.
If you don't move up, you're not taking a quarterback.
Especially with the fact that there's like 4 or 5 quarterbacks they're saying in the first round. Bro, trade down, man. One of these teams will want to move up, even if it's just to get Mac Jones or Trey Lance.
And the other issue that you're facing is the market for Hurts. The only realistic place I see him is backing up Lamar Jackson because RG3 is probably out. Like where else do you see him?
No, we're not going to trade. We're not going to trade Hurts. I think we're going to start Hurts.
But I'm saying if you do draft the quarterback, you consider. That's why I'm saying they shouldn't draft the quarterback because if they do, you're going to have to move Hurts now.
No, they wouldn't move Hurts. They would just start Hurts as like you're going to be the starter for the first 3-4 games, and then we're going to see how fast we can move this quarterback in. If they did take a quarterback,
I don't think you're taking a quarterback. You're not. You're not going quarterback. They think they have something in Hurts.
I think Hurts is just fine for this year, maybe a year or two. Who knows? Maybe he turns into something.
Yeah, the Eagles are definitely not taking a quarterback. I don't think Atlanta is.
I don't hate him.
But
I mean, look. I love Carson Wentz, but I'm an Eagles fan. I'm a Philadelphia Eagles fan, not a Carson Wentz fan. So if Hurts is the guy, I'm hoping he does good. I'm hoping he balls out, but they need to bring in pieces around him. We need offensive line. We need foundational.
You need pieces. A number 1 receiver.
Offensive tackle, defensive end, cornerback. No, we don't need any more receivers because they've been drafting receivers for the last 3-4 years.
They need to draft the right one. You still don't have a number 1.
Last year, we had Rager in the first round, and then we had the kid Fulgham, who kind of emerged as a number 1 receiver and then got hurt. So I'm fine with them being the receivers. The worst thing we could do right now is take another receiver at 6. And speaking of all these guys with these draft takes, I'm seeing a lot of mocks now that have Waddle above Devontae Smith. What sense does that make? That makes no sense.
It goes right back to the same thing you said about the quarterback situation there about Lawrence, and Wilson. That's just someone trying to say because Waddle was hurt. He's the unknown, so you can throw that out there. And if he does, he comes back fully healthy and balls out. Same thing you were saying before. Yeah, I said he was going to be the best one. That's all that is right there. Smith was too dominant in college last year. He was overly dominant.
Yeah, Smith was the best player in the country. So how could you even possibly say, okay, this dude on his team is better than him, we should take him above Smith? No,
absolutely not.
Yeah. But yeah, I'll share with you guys something that I saw. I want to hear your take on this. So, and this scenario is the only scenario that I'd actually be okay with the Jets trading Darnold, is that quarterback thirsty Carolina is at 8, and they don't end up with a quarterback. So the Jets trade Sam Darnold and the 34th pick, which is the second pick of the second round, for the Carolina 8th pick. According to NFL Network, that matches up in that draft tracker together. And that's the only trade I'd be okay with for Darnold. If we can give Darnold a pick for the 8th pick and get a weapon for whoever quarterback they take at 2 if they decide to move on. Because I do get that in the NFL, the GMs always want their guy. Mm-hmm. So as much as I may think, I think he's given a shot, he's still not tied to him. And GMs just like the ego of saying, hey, this was my team, my guys. So
why doesn't anybody like Teddy Bridgewater? He played well in New Orleans. He played good in Minnesota. He played good in Carolina. They don't want him.
NBC Sports was saying that Shanahan would be more interested in Teddy Bridgewater than bringing back Jimmy G.
That makes no sense to me.
Me either.
Well, if you no, well, it kind of does, man. And I've probably watched him a little bit more than you did last few years because he's been in my division. He's been much better than Garoppolo. He's been more accurate.
Garoppolo went to the Super Bowl last year.
Garoppolo, the 49ers went to the Super Bowl in spite of Garoppolo. Garoppolo did not take them to the Super Bowl.
He still played well on the run.
You can say that, that's the same thing as Peyton Manning. The last time that the Broncos went to the Super Bowl, the defense took him there. He was starting at quarterback, but just the weapons around him were ridiculous as well on both of them actually. But Teddy Bridgewater right now, Garoppolo needs to get out of San Francisco. They're not, him and Shanahan for whatever reason don't work out. He looks completely different than he did in those few games that he did in New England. Few people need some. Darnold needs a new scenery. Teddy Bridgewater probably does, and Garoppolo just needs to go back to New England. That's the only place he's going to be good.
Hold on, Joe.
Teddy Bridgewater been passed around enough teams. He don't need no more scenery. He just needs to play.
But see, I understand what you're saying, and I do think that Jimmy G looks like some guy. But this is the one stat I don't understand. Since he got to the 49ers, they're 22-8. When he doesn't play, they're 7-26. That dude makes the difference.
But is that an indictment? Is that saying that Garoppolo's that good, or is that indictment on Sean Mullings and whoever else was playing, Jim Druckenmiller and whoever else was playing backup quarterback?
Dude, their third stringer Mullins, he had some pretty nice games. Like he can spot start. He's a backup quarterback in the NFL. Their third stringer. It's Shanahan's just that good of an offensive coordinator.
Don't forget about Beat Hard, the other quarterback. Beat Hard.
Dude, they got quarterbacks that can score better than anybody Adam Gase got.
That's a more of an indictment on their backup quarterbacks being absolute trash than it is a Garoppolo being good.
I'm just saying that's
We saw what a Shanahan offense was supposed to look like when the asshole didn't run the ball in the Super Bowl. Right?
That always comes back to the Falcons.
Well, I'm just saying that Shanahan's best coaching season he's ever had. It was the number 7 scoring team in the entire history of the NFL. So we know what a Shanahan offense is supposed to look like. Garoppolo's not cutting it for him. They really should look at taking a quarterback this year. If they can move up and get I love Mac Jones or Trey Lance slides or something of that sort. I'm not a Jimmy G guy. Handsome dude, likes porn stars, not a great NFL quarterback.
Yeah, I mean it's a tricky one because that's a very stark difference. And I know they had some other injuries, but you just can't dismiss that and say it has nothing to do with him. Because like I said, you've seen their backups on Sunday Night Football, Monday Night Football, and they look like professional quarterbacks.
Going to the Super Bowl in your first year as a starter, that's a good quarterback. I don't care what your opinion of him is. Whether you say it's the defense doesn't really matter.
I would take Teddy Bridgewater over him.
If Richard Sherman doesn't get burnt, Jimmy Garoppolo got a fucking Super Bowl ring.
There's a lot of ifs, man. But I'm just saying, looking at the last couple years,
plays cover 3 and doesn't get burnt, Jimmy Garoppolo is a Super Bowl winner.
There are a lot of ifs. Devontae Freeman missed a block. There's a lot of ifs.
Didn't they say that pass had like the hang time of a punt or something? Because Mahomes just flinged that bitch 60 yards, floated in the air, and he was wide open.
Because Richard Sherman is jogging in mud.
Yeah.
Richard Sherman's never been fast.
Never.
At his youngest, most athletic, healthiest he ever was, Richard Sherman has never, ever been fast.
So enough about this. Let's talk about the draft. I got
Go ahead.
A couple of people popping out to me. Last year I went to University of Minnesota for Winfield. I like their coach. I like their program. Anybody who actually goes there to play, they probably got recruited by Ohio State. They probably got recruited to Penn State, but they wanted to go to Minnesota to make their own legacy, to build the program, to do something special. So even just to go there and play at Minnesota, you got something deep inside, something special. They got a receiver. He didn't even play last year. He opted out. His name is Rashad Bateman. Prototypical size is about 6'1", 210. I liked him even before this year, even before the opt-out. I liked him last year coming up as a sophomore and a junior. He was always making plays. He's not really a burner, but he's a possession receiver. It looks like on the field. And then he had his pro day, his personal workout the other day, and he ran a 4.37 on the laser. So my man
real quick here.
Moving.
On the 40-yard dash, I read something the other day that they're going to be getting rid of the 40-yard dash soon. That
Never.
They have. No, here's the thing here. Listen here, Boomer. So they have in-game GPS speed tracking now, and they can average that out over an
Villanova blew out his knee
over an entire season. So you get a more true speed and in a game situation than you do just a sprinter running a 40-yard dash. So the younger scouts are moving towards that already. That they have you've seen they put it on ESPN. They'll show that
the 22 miles an hour,
got up to 22 miles an hour, 23 miles an hour, all of that. So they're going to be using that more so than the 40-yard dash moving forward, so that you get a truer sense of how fast this person plays in a game.
Okay,
well, I agree with that. But
so great.
Hold on,
this kid ran a 4.37. So even though he looks like a possession receiver, he's got moves, he's got good hands, he moves the chains, he's got the speed of a number one receiver. So this kid is climbing the draft board. I checked a bunch of mocks. He's like at the end of the first round, he's probably going to creep up. Somebody will get him, probably a good team, much the same way as Pittsburgh got Claypool last year, and he made a huge impact. My man Bateman's going to make a big impact. We already talked about Penei Sewell from Oregon. He's 6'5", 330. That's the only numbers you need. We don't need a cone drill. We don't need a 40 time, nothing. 6'5",
and he wears the angry face paint. He's got the John Randall face paint, the blackout going on.
And he dominates on game day. So that guy is a stud, 5-star. I mean, he's already in top 5 of the draft, but just one of the guys that I love. Another one I love, the defensive tackle from Alabama, Christian Barmore.
Alabama defensive tackle? They never have good defensive tackles at Alabama.
Alabama defensive tackle. He's a 3-tech. Anybody who watched the national championship game, he absolutely dominated. The one thing I love about this kid is he doesn't look like he works out. He looks like he just came from the training table and just ate breakfast.
Like Snacks Harrison.
Yeah. And anybody who's actually played sports, those type of athletes, the dudes that are explosive athletes, but they don't look like they work out, those are the dudes with the most potential because it's natural. It's natural muscle fiber and explosion inside them rather than just a workout warrior. You see these dudes that look like He-Man and they go in on Sunday and they play like shit.
Just look at Warren Sapp. If you ever want to describe to someone who was born naturally strong, Warren Sapp. He never had to lift a weight in his entire life. He'd have been able to play defensive tackle in the NFL. Just built for power and burst.
I had a buddy of mine, never went in the weight room once in all the time I've known him. And he was one of the best athletes I've ever been around, one of the best basketball players in New Jersey, was a sick baseball player, played on all the traveling teams and everything, played in college. He never came out for football because he was afraid of getting hurt. But like if we played at like a park or something, he would always dominate. Unbelievable athlete. Never looked like he lifted weights ever.
If you've seen the Bo Jackson documentary, Bo Jackson said he really ever worked out.
Yeah, nah.
And he was just able to lift 225. Like he never.
He's like Herschel. They do a lot of million push-ups, sit-ups.
Those dudes that look really yoked up and like ripped up, they're very rarely the most exceptional athletes. Number one, it takes a lot of oxygen to feed those muscles in competition. So you see those guys in UFC all the time. They're the first ones to gas out. They're usually kind of slow. They don't have the explosion throughout the entire fight. So same thing with football, man. If you're completely yoked up and rocked up, you've already met your full potential. This kid Barmore from Alabama, once he gets to an NFL team and he's really eating on an NFL budget and he has an NFL strength and conditioning guy to work with him every single day, he's just going to keep getting better.
Now, I agree with you. He's going to keep getting better, but he's had an NFL dinner plate and an NFL training staff for the last 3 years. My man went to Alabama, not Slippery Rock. He's got the top of everything.
Yeah, but he looks like a guy that isn't really following like the training plan. You know what I mean? Like
Devontae Smith isn't either. Apparently, they don't got a program out.
So what you're saying is when it's actually going to affect his pocketbook. Well, yeah. Well, Mac Jones, like you leave Mac Jones alone. When it starts affecting his pocketbook, then he'll start getting in shape. I got a quick question for you right here. You can tell me who the most famous 3-sport athlete out of the University of Minnesota ever was. And he is in the Hall of Fame for a professional sport.
Dave Winfield.
Very good, sir. Now, your Minnesota Gophers, they wear garnet and gold. There's an NFL team that wears very, very similar colors to them, and this week decided to get rid of cheerleaders. So I'm seeing Enrique sinking into his chair back there. You're the one that broke this story of the two of us. So tell us what's happening in our nation's capital.
I guess it's offensive now that cheerleaders are dancing. Because I mean, that's not a new thing, the co-ed thing. I know in college, like at Texas A&M, they call them yell leaders. They've had that for a while.
It's a full scholarship at a lot of schools.
Yeah.
Are the Redskins just going full damage control, just trying to avoid anything that might be offensive to anyone?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know what a Redskin is. I've never heard that before. What is this Redskin you speak of?
Just call them the social justice warriors. That's what you should be their name.
The team formerly known as the Redskins.
Yeah, that's what it looks like, to be honest with you. They're going just full overcorrection mode here. So they changed the name. They're going to paint the field pink now. I don't know what's going on. It's ridiculous, though. It's just an overcorrection. It's the American way. They'll go all the way to the left. No one will care. No one will buy their little calendar or whatever, things. And slowly, there'll be one guy on the cheerleading squad next year, and in 2 years, there'll be nobody there.
They used to call their offensive linemen the Hogs. That's offensive
Hogs.
to fat dudes everywhere.
And also, Dan
the Marlins did have the manatees, though. The Marlins had some fat guys that would come out and dance in like the 4th or 5th inning.
Shut up.
Those guys,
That's
swear
a lie.
to God,
You're lying.
I swear to God, there was a man-a-tees, and they would come out and they would dance, on top of the dugouts and all that. Look it up. The manatees. Go ahead, Enrique.
Were they from Wilton Manors?
I already lost my train of thought.
Probably. I wouldn't be surprised.
I was laughing at that, the manatees, and I lost my train of thought. I forgot what I was talking about.
Well, fuck the cheerleaders. Back to the draft. I like Micah Parsons. I like the linebacker from Penn State. Eagles, go get him at 6. We need an outside linebacker. The dude can cover. The dude can blitz. The dude can stop the run. He's smart. He went to Penn State. He's a team guy. Go get him.
Didn't he sit out the year?
Yeah.
He did. It's crazy in the COVID. There's a lot of people, they get crazy news, and they thought it was like people turning into zombies and shit.
You kind of changed your stance on that. Last time we talked about this, you actually said you thought that was a negative of the players that,
I don't like it for the guys that were seniors. And I know I said about Rashad Bateman before, but the guys that were seniors, I really don't like the opt-out, because, those are your friends. Those are the guys that you went through the battles with for years, and those are your best friends, and you're basically quitting on them. But a lot of these people, think about how many dumbasses that you guys speak to that give you some retarded ass shit off the wall about, the coronavirus or the masks or, the vaccines. The number of idiots that have tried to say some bullshit to me, and I'm just like, yeah, okay, man. I can only imagine what a young, impressionable 19-year-old kid hears about this virus,
And at the time that they had to decide if they were going to play or not, they had way less information than what we have now. So, and we don't know. Does he have someone at home that's got some, extenuating circumstances? Mom have, COPD or something? That's probably why he opted out.
I also saw some more film on Trey Lance. Yeah, that's another thing. If they have like older people in their family with pre-existing conditions, they don't want to be the one to give them the coronavirus and take them out.
Which is understandable.
That's admirable, yeah. But it's definitely something to consider. I saw some more film on Trey Lance, and I'm on board with the kid, man. The kid can move. He can actually run. He runs like a running back. I saw him one where he slipped through the linebackers. He made a move, and the safety came up on him and broke down to make the tackle. And, my man dipped, as Merrill Hodge says, puts his foot in the ground and stuck his shoulder right in the kid's chest and dropped him right in his feet.
All the scouts are confused. No one agrees
running
on this guy.
Running people over.
So I've seen
him more than Justin Fields.
I've seen him in the teens.
Not running away from people, running people over.
Did you like him better than Justin Fields?
I don't know, man. I don't know what to think about Justin Fields, because I've seen him have some bad games, and then I see him dissect Clemson like they were nothing. I don't know what to think about Justin Fields. The jury's out.
It seems to be Lawrence 1, Wilson 2, and then you just kind of, you grab Fields, Lance, Mac Jones is flying up draft boards.
Yeah,
You know,
man. They love Mac Jones,
they're kind of in the second kind of group that's there. But yeah, I watched some film on him the other day as well too. The kid looks like, you want to talk about pure athlete? He looks like a pure athlete. He was born to play
he looks
football.
like a running back running around.
He looks at the pads on him look natural. He's like Cam Newton stature wise. He looks like he's ready to play football. I like him a lot. Now, if we were gonna take, I'm gonna stay on my stance that the Falcons are gonna take the left tackle. But I'm not sure who I would want more. If my team was going to take a quarterback up there and they're around 5 or 6, do I want them to take Lance or do I want them to take Fields? I'm not sure yet.
I thought you wanted Mac Jones.
No, we take here's the plan with Mac Jones. If you take Mac Jones, right, you're trading back with the Eagles because the Eagles are then going to take Zach Wilson at 4. So you're going to trade back.
He won't get there.
Fuck out of here.
You're going to trade.
He won't get there.
So here's what the Eagles are going to do. The Eagles are going to trade up to 4 with the Falcons, and then they're going to trade up again to 2 with the Jets and take Zach Wilson. But if Atlanta ends up with Mac Jones because we moved back,
there's a lot of teams in the 10s and 15s that need a quarterback. So they're going to see Mac. They're going to see Mac Jones and Trey Lance drifting into the back of the top 10, and they're going to come up and snipe. That's what I need.
I'll tell you who should go and get Mac Jones is Pittsburgh. They got one. They signed Ben for 1 more year. Ben's about done.
New England needs a quarterback.
Yeah, but fuck New England, man. They've had enough winning, and I like Mike Tomlin more than I like Bill Belichick. So let him go to Pittsburgh.
Belichick doesn't trade up.
Plus, Mac Jones will turn into a complete asshole under the tutelage of Josh McDaniels and Bill Belichick. Exactly. So you're trying to make him a supreme asshole under those two, under the hoodie, and McDaniels just won't cut the cord. He keeps getting head coaching offers. He's afraid he's going to draft Tim Tebow in the first round again.
I think they offered him the New England job. They probably told him when Belichick retires, this is your team. And Belichick told him, like, I'm going to shift to the GM in a couple of years, and you'll just take over as the head coach.
That's the only reason.
That's the only reason he would give up that Colts job.
No, Steve Belichick would get the job before McDaniels does.
I don't think Belichick likes his son that much.
You're going to have to pry that coaching job out of Bill Belichick's cold, dead hands. I don't think he likes his son that much either. He's never pushed
it. Is it the mullet? Is it the mullet?
Aside from the mullet. The mullet, the mullet is the kid acting out, trying to embarrass Bill. I'm going to give you a bust alert too. Here you go. I'm going to give you a bust alert.
Definitely holds a grudge.
I've been saying this for 2-3 years. The kid Leatherwood from Alabama, offensive tackle. Mock drafts have him going 15, 20. Bust alert for that kid. He is garbage.
Why do you hate this kid so much?
He's not good. I've watched the games. He's not good.
All right, so my player to look out for is Rashawn Slater, the tackle out of Northwestern. I kind of like him a little better than Penei Sewell, which is why I think it's not a bad thing if you don't get Penei Sewell, Joel, because I kind of like that guy a little better. Watch his film against Chase Young 2 years ago, and you'll see what I'm talking about. And he was pretty
offensive tackle
last year. He was pretty consistent his last year, and he's a guy that could swing to both right and left tackle.
So you're saying to trade back to 6 so that the Eagles can take
shut up
Zach Wilson.
Stop this.
And then take him at 6. I got you.
Yeah, I kind of like that guy as my number 1 tackle this year. He looks really good.
Slater.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, I'm watching this Cade Cunningham here. This guy is light skinned, Enrique.
I want Cade Cunningham on the Knicks so badly, dude.
This guy is red bone. You know what that means?
Yeah, he's gonna get hurt.
Is he not a Jeter?
Yeah, he's
a Jeter.
Is he?
I'm pretty sure he's a Jeter.
Whatever he is, he's a red bone.
But there's different muscle fibers in the Jeters than there are in the straight red bones. So
they always get hurt.
There is a difference. The Jeters seem to be more hardy. You know, your Pat Mahomes, your Jeter himself. Only Blake Griffin is starting to break down in his old age here. But usually the Jeters hold up well for the most part. No, Cunningham is the absolute truth. There's nothing he can't do. dribble, shoot, pass. He's the whole. He's LaMelo with a better jump shot.
Really?
Oh, man.
He's got that good of a handle?
Oh, dude, he's all skill, man. This guy is not like an athlete on the court. No, he's a skill player.
I'm watching now. He's like posting
he's,
up and shit. He's getting down low.
He
does absolutely everything. And LaMelo's name just came up. Your boy Lonzo Ball is shooting 40% from three. Just
he's motivated, man.
Lonzo is balling. I've been saying for forever.
No,
Lonzo, go ahead, Enrique. You hate him. Lonzo's balling. The Pelicans are fun to watch, and part of the reason is Lonzo Ball. He has ball in his hand more than anybody else.
The Pelicans are fun to watch because of Zion Williamson.
And let me also clarify. Lonzo Ball is playing better, not necessarily
Lonzo Ball is balling.
He's not balling.
Balling compared to what we've seen from him, yes. But balling in general, no, because his brother just got in the league. The second he started, 27-7. That guy's going to be like a 25, 10, and possibly even 10 kind of guy.
There's 3 balls that played basketball. Well, we're not counting LeVar. Never lost.
Never mind them.
No, I'm finishing my point. Please, dude. People care more about Lonzo Ball than they care about some 7th-round running back right now. Lonzo Ball.
I was about to talk about the MVP, Joel Embiid.
Lonzo Ball's 15, 5, and 5. Absolutely balling.
Wow.
Absolutely balling. He's the 4th option on that team, putting up numbers that way. The only knock he ever had on him is he couldn't shoot, and he's fixed that. Yes, I would take him in New York. That was one of the people that have saying are linked to I don't want to give up too much for him, but I would take him in New York. Go ahead. Talk about Embiid. I'll always listen to anybody named Joel.
Joel Embiid should be the MVP. It's clear cut.
Not getting any argument over here.
Everybody's going to talk about Harden. And, he's averaging a ridiculous, I think he's like 27 and he's leading the league in assists, which is commendable and something that's new for him. But on that team, in that offense, the offense is designed for them to put up points. He's got playmakers all around him. He's got Irving. I know Durant's been out for a while. And, give the Nets props, man. They went on an 8-game winning streak with Durant not even playing.
And they're going to be tough to beat, too, by the way.
Yeah, they're going to be tough to beat in the playoffs.
Well, when you have 3 superstars, it helps.
I think just to look at Harden's numbers in the MVP race is not doing Embiid a service because Embiid is carrying the Sixers right now.
But Harden also shooting a career high, like from the field. He's not a career high in points, but he's shooting like 52% and over 40. He's basically close to 50, 40, 90, and almost a triple double.
He doesn't have to take a bad shot anymore. When he was in Houston, he had to dribble the ball for 16 seconds, make somebody miss, and then take a hard, contested shot. Now, the spacing is better because even on top of Durant and Kyrie there, Joe Harris is a knockdown 3-point shooter.
Oh, yeah.
And you've got
Bruce Brown is playing good, too.
Bruce Brown plays. They got Landry Shamet coming off of the bench.
Stop talking about Shamet. Shamet sucks.
Landry Shamet. No. Landry Shamet does not suck. Landry Shamet does 2 things.
Check the numbers.
No. Landry Shamet spaces the floor, and that's all Landry Shamet has to do. As long as Landry Shamet hits anywhere between 35 and 40% from 3, he's doing his job. Because all you want is his guy to not be able to sag off of him and get to KD or to Kyrie getting into the lane. So Landry Shamet, and to be honest with you, Landry Shamet would work perfectly on the Sixers. Because you need somebody that can knock down the standard. You got rid of him 3 years ago. He's not the same player that he was now. And when you had him, he had Brett Brown as his coach. He had Doc Rivers in LA, and now he's got Steve Nash is the coach, but he's really learning from KD and Harden. You're underselling Landry Shamet a lot. There are guys that are on the Sixers for a little bit. You form a crust or something around them, and don't think they can get any better. He's improved a lot.
He's on the Nets.
He was really good for the Clippers. He was really good for the Clippers last year.
Where they average 130, 140 points a game. So if he puts up a couple points here and there on the Nets, it's not really impressive.
But that's not even that's not his job. His job is just to be able to space the floor.
The other guy, Bruce Brown, has been playing real well while Durant has been out. He's almost like their big man, and he's not even that big.
But they only have one big man. They have DeAndre Jordan. That's it. Everybody's small.
Embiid the other night. Embiid the other night played against Rudy Gobert, the defensive player of the year for the last 2 years, and put 40 points and 20 rebounds on him. Carried the Sixers, even hit a 3-pointer at the end to tie it up.
He's hitting hard and step backs.
MVP.
Well, one more
No
thing about
argument
that
on
trade.
that.
One more thing about that trade that you didn't mention that was made public, that when they did the Tobias trade, Jerry West, Hall of Fame executive, we all agree with that, is very good at spotting talent, wouldn't make the trade without getting Shamet over. Shamet's a good player, man. He's a really good piece.
You're underselling Shamet. And another thing that I know we didn't bring this up here, but it was in a text earlier today. You guys had the two. You were comparing Kyle Korver and JJ Redick. Both of you took Redick, and both of you are wrong. JJ Redick is a shooter. He's small, and he's been really good in the NBA. He lasted much longer than he should have. Kyle Korver's been an all-star. His first couple years in the league, he was real close to getting bounced off of the Magic, and he started playing defense his third year when they got your boy Van Gundy and his coach. So you can look it up if you don't believe me. JJ Redick was almost out of the NBA. Kyle Korver, all-star when he was with the Hawks. He's been a champion with a couple of different teams. Their percentages are about the same. They're both about 40% career from three. Korver has more points per game. Better defender as well because he's 6'7". Korver better than JJ Redick.
JJ Redick's a better player.
I agree.
Absolutely not. You've been wrong on two players tonight now. Landry Shamet and JJ Redick.
The Sixers have had them both. I've watched them play playoff games. Redick is a better player. He's a better shooter. He's a better all-around player. Korver is a horrible defensive player, and he's supposed to be the spot-up shooter. When you're in big games and he gets open shots to hit big shots, he misses them.
I'm going to play Enrique here, and I'm going to pull up some stats on Korver. Go ahead. I'm listening.
But also,
you can't hang every single player on their shooting percentage. There's other things. There's game situations.
Who said? I said the one thing that they said was the one thing they had the one thing that they had in common was the shooting percentage. Korver rebounds the ball more. He's had higher assists for his career. He's also the one thing he's been an all-star. Redick has never been an all-star.
He was an all-star. He was an all-star in 2014, 2015 when the team won 60 games, and it was like you got to put guys from there. I don't think he was like legitimately an all-star.
He was on the team, and he wasn't an injury alternate. He wasn't an injury alternate. He was on the team as one of the 12 out of the East. The man was an all-star. Mm-hmm. You can diminish it however you want. The man was an all-star. JJ Redick never was.
JJ Redick left Duke as the all-time leading scorer in the ACC.
Also, now that counts because whenever I bring that up for Tyler Hansborough, that's that, and Tyler Hansborough blew whatever JJ Redick's number was out of the water.
Because JJ Redick
added in rebounds
in the NBA.
And added in rebounds. But listen, Tyler Hansborough was a Toronto Raptor and an Indiana Pacer. I don't give two fucks what he did in the NBA.
Like 2 years?
But it doesn't matter. He still got to the NBA. He had a longer career than Herringody did for anybody from Notre Dame. If you're a spot, listen out there.
Basketball fan.
Listen out there, kids. If you can knock down a jump shot, you can play forever. But we're talking about you brought up the actual stat. JJ Redick was the number one scorer in ACC history.
What
Tyler
Hansborough? What conference?
Water and added in all-time rebounding in ACC history. Fuck JJ Redick. He can't sniff Tyler Hansborough's college career.
What conference did Kyle Korver lead the league? What?
Kyle
set an all-time record? Did Kyle Korver set an all-time record for any conference ever?
He probably did. To be honest, I'm not even sure if he did or not.
He probably did.
I mean, you're out here. You're out here. He went to a small. He didn't go to a top flight college, man. He went to Creighton. But he more than likely has a couple of conference or school titles. You won what?
I said, I wonder why Kyle Korver didn't go to a school that people know.
Well, sometimes if you're a white guy from Paramount, California, playing basketball in the late '90s, you may not get a lot of looks because you're a white guy from Paramount, California. That's probably why you ended up at Creighton.
Unless you're JJ Redick, and then you break the ACC scoring record.
JJ Redick was so good, Maryland fans were insulting his sick sister to get him out of his game because they knew he would drop 30 on him with just threes. Like, JJ Redick's the most hated player in ACC history, in modern history. I have no idea why. Probably because he was a white boy draining threes that nobody could stop.
I think Leitner was the most hated player ever.
No, I'm talking about recent history because I think Leitner probably is ever. So like
Leitner's easily the most hated player of our generation.
Even people that like Duke hate Leitner.
I mean, he's an easy person to hate. Leitner was super intense. He was an asshole. He was ready to throw hands. Leitner was easy to hate. And Duke is easy to hate.
And he was good. And at that time, they were the best team in the country.
Yeah.
They beat UNLV.
Well, they beat UNLV because UNLV went in there cocky because they beat the brakes off of them the year before. A focused UNLV team beats them. If it's a 7-game series, they win in 5 or 6.
They lost.
They did lose. They did lose. But you're saying they were the best team at that time. They weren't the best team at that time. That UNLV team. We've all argued before about that UNLV squad being one of the best college basketball teams we have ever seen in our entire lives. They looked past Duke because they beat the shit out of them the year before, and they lost. They did lose, but if they said 7-game series, they would lose. UNLV would win that if it was a series.
As much talent as UNLV had, Duke still had Leitner, Bobby Hurley, Grant Hill. Like, it wasn't bums that they lost to. Duke was stacked.
You named the 3 that weren't bums. Everybody else was a bum.
How many
Brian Davis was a bum.
How many players on their court?
So 60%, right? 60% of the players that were on the court for the Duke Blue Devils, if Leitner, Grant Hill, who was a freshman at the time, and Bobby Hurley are on the court, 60% are good, 40% suck. Because Brian Hill, I think it was Brian Davis, and the other what was it? Hill was the other 2 guard. Both of those guys were trash. Absolute trash.
You need role players. Even on UNLV, they had Ackles and
Ackles was better than anybody else other than those 3 Blue Devils.
When is the last time anybody said his name? We're bringing it back.
He's smiling somewhere right now, knowing someone's thinking about him.
That was when March Madness was the bomb.
Yeah, kids used to stay in school 2, 3, 4
when you
years
actually had a team, that they would stay back until their junior and senior year, and you knew they were going into the tournament the following year.
That is absolutely over. We will never, ever see that again, and we've got only a few years left of the top-tier players going to college basketball. We'll actually see players stay. Hold on a second. You'll see players stay 2, 3 years in a couple of years, but it's not going to be your Tim Duncans or any of that. It's going to be those guys who would be there 4 years anyway, because the top flight players are going to start going through that G League program.
Agreed.
They're starting a pro league for high school players. For high school players that want to give up their eligibility, they're going to have like a bullshit like pro league where those games get televised and then they have like a tournament at the end of the year. This shit is ridiculous.
That seems like it has a lot of legal issues to go on.
Yeah. There's gonna be somebody making money stealing from
they have to sign a waiver that says that they're gonna give up their high school eligibility and they're not gonna be able to go to college, and they go right into this bullshit league.
That feels like some desperation arena league type shit.
Yeah.
What they need to go to the park in New York and just recruit dudes, because that's where your best players are gonna be.
Well, now you can take guys to the G League. You can do that. When you're trying to get guys into college, you couldn't go down to Rucker. Half those guys can't read, but you can go and pull somebody out of there now. Like Obi Toppin's father is a playground legend in New York, but never went to college, never went to school or anything. Who knows? If the G League was around back then, maybe he might have made it to the NBA. He seemed like he was that kind of athlete. But yeah, college sports as we know it are going to be very, very different in the next few years. College football will continue to exist, but the players are going to start getting paid. So we're not going to know who's going to be going where. But they're getting paid now, but they're going to be getting paid out in the open.
Let them get
paid.
They're
definitely going to get paid.
Bring the football game back so I can play and pay them.
They're definitely going to get paid.
If the SMU boosters want to try to buy a championship, I see nothing wrong with that. Let the kids make money.
It's the American way.
There's just too much money involved. When you see they have, these bowl games, and then we're gonna have the playoff on top of that, and then we're gonna have the national championship game, and these kids ain't making a dime. There's just too much money out there. They need to pay the players.
And I think they're already giving up their body because I think you already have CT by the time you get in a college football. If you're a D1 player.
Anybody that thinks that kids that play for Alabama and Texas and Clemson, anybody that thinks those kids aren't getting paid is naive.
But they're getting paid everywhere. Even at the small schools, they're getting paid. Money's our barber cuts a lot of different people's hair, obviously. And, we're down here in Miami. So there are guys that have played, Division II, Division III, and other places. No big names or anything. And he was saying he was cutting his hair, and he said, yeah, they went and played in whatever the Division II playoff games were. I can't remember, whatever. They have a tournament in those. And they come back to the hotel at the end of the night. You put his hand under the pillow. There was an envelope with a couple grand in it. So they're all getting paid. Obviously it's much bigger money at Alabama. It's not going to be $2,000 under a pillow. It's going to be, the proverbial suitcase getting dropped off at the house. But everybody's getting paid. All those people are making money off of these games. They're making money off of these players. And the whole, they got room and board and an education doesn't really pan out as much. It doesn't balance out with the amount of money that they make off of these kids.
Yeah. After the LSU national championship game, because I follow the wide receiver, the guy, what's his name? The one coming up in the draft.
Jamar Chase.
Jamar Chase. Like a week after winning the national championship, 2 fat-ass gold chains, courtesy of OBJ.
Yeah.
He was probably rocking.
Yeah, they had film of Beckham just doing like the make it.
He got in trouble. He got in trouble with the NCAA for that.
Throwing hundreds at him.
Yeah, he got in trouble with the NCAA for that.
So that he gave back the reported money. The unreported money was kept by the kids.
What are they going to do to him? I mean, the guys in the NFL.
They banned him for a year.
Millions.
Yeah,
he just
couldn't go on the sidelines. Yeah, he just can't go on the sidelines for the games. It's the only thing they can do to him.
And it's only for a year too. It's not even.
And the kids that he was giving money to were like seniors that were graduating. So who cares?
It's a stupid rule to begin with, man. It's absolutely idiotic. He's obviously friends with them. He went to school there. He goes back there all the time. He knows all of them. If he wants to give his own money to a kid walking on the sideline there, he should be able to give him money. That's absolutely stupid. Absolutely stupid. So the only people that can make any money is the freaking old people, the executives for the NCAA. Asinine.
He probably just wants the kids to jump in the hot tub with him. So
I wouldn't be surprised on that either. But I think they took that money and ran away from him.
Oh man.
We're getting closer to them getting paid, and the NCAA game is gonna help push that over.
Speaking of getting paid, I have a question. Mm-hmm. Why is Shaquille O'Neal one of the greatest athletes of all time and one of the best personalities and personas that we've ever seen in sports history? Why does he only have 2 endorsements, the Epsom color printer and the General Insurance? And I don't even think the General is national. I think the General is just a South Florida thing.
All right, well,
Shaquille O'Neal has 2 endorsements. Dak Prescott and Baker Mayfield have like 7 each.
Okay. Well, first thing is Shaq hasn't played a second of basketball in 15 years. But it's 15 years. So there's a 3-part answer to this. Number 1, he hasn't played ball in a long time. Number 2, he doesn't need any money. So I'm sure that there's people calling him, "Hey Shaq, do you want to do this? Hey Shaq, do you want to do that?"
But why would he be like, "Oh, Epson color printers, I'm in"?
Well, they got the fattest.
I bet you it's something stupid too. Like his grandmother had an Epson printer, and he always loved Epson printers. That's probably one of them. And the general, he got to act stupid with a cartoon general in a commercial. Shaq's turning down shit left and right.
Is the General national? Is that just a South Florida thing?
I think so. No,
I think it's national. I think the one that's just South Florida is Estrella.
I'm just saying
down here.
Dak Prescott is garbage. He has like 7 different companies he does endorsements for.
Only because he's the quarterback of America's team.
Baker Mayfield got the fucking whatever those commercials are where he puts the fucking covers on.
Those are horrible, dude. Baker Mayfield's commercials are terrible.
He's got like 9 different commercials, and I'm thinking
they're horrible. They're all bad. He starts sweeping up the stadium. This is corny, terrible.
Now, what you just said, Dak Prescott, the Cowboys, they're America's teams, so he gets all that shit. I'm thinking Russell Wilson is up in Seattle, thinking, "Yo, I'm one of the best quarterbacks in the league. I already got a Super Bowl under my belt. I have 0 endorsements, Russell Wilson. But Dak Prescott Dak Prescott got the mattresses. Dak Prescott got this commercial, that commercial. Bro, I bet you Russell Wilson is like, oh, I can go down there and bank.
Yeah, and
He
And
put Dallas
let
on
me
his
tell you
list.
something right now. The Cowboys with Russell Wilson would be rugged.
Sierra wants that too. Sierra wants him to be in a bigger market. You know, the wifey wants that.
She wants to be close to the future. That's what she
They
wants.
already got the running back. They already got the offensive line. Their receivers are dope. Russell Wilson would be rocking in Dallas. And I do not want
He's on the list. That's one
Seattle
of the
would
teams
suck
on the
with
list.
I do
benefit
not
me.
want that.
If that happens, then Seattle's probably going to be last place in the NFC West, and that would benefit me. So.
Pete Carroll, if you're listening, don't do it. Send them to New Orleans to torture Joel.
Oh my God, dude! Have I not suffered enough, yo? Like for real, I've had to deal with Drew Brees. Now I have Tom Brady.
You complained about Drew Brees, and now all of a sudden you got Tom Brady. You're about to have Russell Wilson.
But honestly, out of all the teams, he requested 4 teams. The only realistic trade I see is a swap for Dak Prescott and Russell Wilson. They can
make anything happen that they want to make happen. Well, listen, man, 2 Wilsons are going to be playing quarterback in the NFC East coming up next year. Zach Wilson on the Eagles and your boy Russell Wilson down in Dallas. So in the East is going to be all Wilson out. Wade Wilson's going to come back and coach.
We didn't like Sean Bradley. We don't like this fucking short fucker. Not going to happen.
You had Detmer.
Exactly. That's why we're not taking this joker. We had both Detmers. We had Ty Detmer and Coy Detmer, and then Bobby Hoying.
No one wants to talk about Coy. It's only Detmer that counts for anything. Is
Coy
Ty.
Detmer was actually the better NFL quarterback.
They were both pretty bad. So then you go back to when they were good, and it goes back to college. Ty was better.
If you're talking about NFL quarterbacks, Coy Detmer was the better quarterback. You brought in all the shooting percentage, all this bullshit for Kyle Korver and JJ Redick. I'm here to tell you that Coy Detmer was better than Ty Detmer at the NFL level.
And Russell Wilson's going to be a Cowboy next year.
Look at this mullet on the dude from Baylor. Yes.
Russell Wilson with a star on the side of his helmet coming up next year.
Talking about stars, getting traded and wanting trades. The rumor mill from Brian Windhorst is that within the next 12 months,
somebody's alert just went off.
Yeah, that was perfect timing too.
Yeah, he believes that in the next 12 months, a star player is going to force their way to the Knicks. That's what he believes. What do you got? Are you buying it? You selling?
I hope so for you guys.
Now forced by I don't want another Melo trade, meaning that we give up half the team to get a star player back.
Eventually. Who's coming eventually?
Exactly. So if you're talking about Beal, don't trade for him. Wait, sign him at the end of the season. I don't know who else there was. Was it Booker is another one that they've had linked. It has to be the price tag of because the Knicks are finally young. It's the first time since literally the early 90s that the Knicks are young. The cap is under control right now, and we actually have tradable assets and guys improving. We haven't had any sort of player development at all over the last 15, 20 years. So to see guys get better, Elfrid Payton, he still sucks, but he looks better. Julius Randle, if he doesn't get most improved player in the NBA this year, the entire shit is rigged. And by the way, the NBA shame on you, NBA. You just they're not going to play the game, but you had the rookie Rising Stars game, whatever, and you didn't put Emmanuel Quickly on there. You put some kid that's on Portland, I believe, or whatever. Some guy whose name I've even known before.
The Q Dog didn't make the Rising Stars.
They didn't put him. And I bet you they didn't put him on because RJ's on the world team, so they didn't want to have 2 Knicks in there. But shame on you, NBA, for not putting Emmanuel Quickly on one of the all-rookie teams. He's exactly third. He's third in scoring. He's third in scoring among all rookies, and he's played half the minutes. Played half the minutes of the 2 guys ahead.
Throwing up the Q Dog for me.
Yeah, he's first in scoring.
Throw the Q's up, Enrique.
And 3 to the dome for him as well.
He's actually first in points per 36 minutes, by the way, too. So
he comes in and swaps, man. Shame on them. But Enrique, you're a diehard Knicks fan like I am. What do you want to happen? I just don't want to. Burn out the whole squad again, bringing 1 star in.
See, well, I'm very cautious of all these. Like, the Knicks just started getting their act together. Like, let's go through that process. Let's make sure this isn't a fluke. Let's
trust the process.
Trust the process.
Yes,
Let's keep
you got to
doing
build.
things the right
You
way.
got to build the program.
You know, like what if that Mavs pick ends up in the lottery, man? Like, you know, the Knicks, we have been given the shit end of the stick for my entire life. You know, we really desperately thought we were going to get Zion. That didn't happen. This would supersede. The Mavs getting a lottery pick would supersede my feelings for losing Zion. Just because
it's not one guy that's going to change the whole franchise that's going to give you a championship. It's, you know, drafting a couple rookies and building a couple young guys, getting better, and them growing as a team together. That's what makes a good program and lasts for a long time.
Yeah, agreed. But we are getting closer to the point where that one player would push us into contention. So they have those pieces in place. You've got that defensive stalwart at center in Mitchell Robinson. You got the Swiss Army knife in RJ, who's getting better. Another guy who was getting killed for shooting. He's shooting 40% from three since the mid-January. The jumper's not broken anymore. So the Knicks are actually heading in the right direction. Emmanuel quickly. Obi Toppin needs more minutes, but Julius Randle's been playing too well. But we're getting closer to that one player, the Cade Cunningham or something of that sort, to push us into full contention.
We got to talk about this on the air because it was talked about on the text messages, and I have to get this on record on film on the show. We got
5 minutes. Go ahead.
All of a sudden, you guys have changed your tune. Now you don't want to trade Randle. When we talked about this over the last couple of years. Last year, Morris was playing well. We said, showcase him, let him play well. Then you trade him for a pick, traded him for a pick. Then we said, okay, Randle's the next one. He's going to get in there. He's going to put up some numbers. You showcase him, and you trade him for a number one pick. That way we get multiple assets, multiple young guys in the program growing together. And now all of a sudden you're telling me on the text messages like, oh, no, Randle, he's too good. We can't trade him now.
No, it's because right now the market for him would be a contender. So it'd be very difficult to actually get adequate value from somebody who wants him.
You're not getting even value back. Right?
What we did say in text message, which you agreed with, is that him being 26 means he's still considered a ascending player. So that's more valuable than someone like Marcus Morris, who you knew who he was. You knew the kind of player Marcus Morris was.
But
Morris in his 30s already.
You know who Julius Randle is. Like
we thought
we don't. We thought we knew, but apparently this is not
thought we knew. We absolutely did not know. Here's the thing, right? He's had decent numbers coming up.
You guys are turning into the exact Knicks fans that you used to complain about.
No.
Because when Randle first started playing well, one of you guys said to me, like, oh, yeah, here comes the Knicks fans are going to say, like, this guy's a superstar and we got to keep him. And
there
now
comes
you guys
a point.
are telling me that.
Yeah, because it gets to a certain point. It gets to a certain point where it's not a fluke anymore. So we're 35 games into the season right now, and he hasn't had any drop-off. The other thing is it's not a bunch of circus shots going in. He's not flinging up stuff from the corner. He's playing sound basketball. He's making passes that he's never made before. He doesn't do that stupid spin move in the lane that he did last year that he literally turned the ball over every other time that he did. The Knicks are actually developing players. The reason that Julius Randle has gotten to the point where we're not looking to trade him anymore is because of Tom Thibodeau, Kenny Payne, Woodson. All the Knicks, this is the first time since really, and I hate saying his fucking name, since Pat Riley was there, that the Knicks are actually developing players. John Starks came out under Pat Riley. Anthony Mason came out of nowhere under Pat Riley. Now here, the Knicks have these guys that are Randle. No one ever thought he was going to play this well for this long. Quickly, they were calling him they're saying that he was a D-plus pick, where we got him at number 25, I believe it was, and that he should have been drafted in the second round. We're actually developing the players, and the one that's taking most to the coaching has been Julius Randle. His defense is better. His shooting form is better. If they showed a side-by-side the other night of his shooting form from last year to this year, his body's more squared. His elbows in tighter.
Are you going to make
I think we're going to move him.
Are you going to make a deep playoff run with Julius Randle as your best player?
No, but if Julius Randle is your second best player, yes, you can.
So who's your best player?
Cade Cunningham.
That's what we got to find. hope we can hope.
I'm putting it in the universe. No, we don't know who our best players are. I can tell you who the best player is not going to be, and it's one that they keep all the Knicks fans on the Facebook forums. Karl Anthony Towns and Tom Thibodeau do not get along, so it is not happening. Everything else is in place because he's from New York the whole night.
He's open to the trade.
He is not going to New York. He's saying he's open to the trade because he doesn't want to look like he's whiny and soft or whatever. Because it's exactly what Jimmy Butler said that he was when he was in Toronto in Minnesota.
That's why Butler left, right?
That's why Butler left. But Karl Anthony Towns will not be a Knick. Our more realistic ones is hopefully we get lucky with the Dallas pick in the draft. But if not, you're looking at a Bradley Beal. You're looking at a Booker. I'm not even sure who else you'd be looking at.
Karl Anthony Towns smashing Kylie's ex-best friend, Jordan Woods, which brings us to the Kendall Jenner team names submitted by the fans. I got some team names here I need you guys to vote. All right. We got
Rick, you got to put these up on the gram.
If you guys watched last week, we have a Kendall Jenner NBA team. We're thinking how good they would be in the playoffs. We got some fan submissions on Instagram for some team names for Kendall's team. Are you guys ready?
Go ahead.
Write these down. Put them in a mental note. I need to know what you think. First fan submission, body count, for obvious reasons. Didn't like that one, huh? Next submission, the K team.
I feel like we're stealing from Ice-T when we go with the body count there.
Next submission, the K team.
That's for baseball. That feels like strikes.
Kind of a take on the A team, the K team. Next fan submission, the LA Fakers.
We're getting somewhere. That's getting better.
That's a little bit better.
They're improving.
Rick warmed up a little bit to that one.
Next fan submission, Miami Skeet.
Now we're getting somewhere.
I
like it. And you don't have to change the actual Miami Heat logo very much. It already looks like flying sperm.
This is true.
Wait, hold on. In regards to flying sperm, have you guys seen the Milwaukee Bucks? What do you call that?
Yes, they have the hand sanitizer cam.
And it looks like a freaking money shot to the face.
So the kiss cam, right? So it's now they've got the hand sanitizer cam that goes around.
Hand sanitizer on somebody?
No, it's a bottle of lotion in the side of the screen or a bottle of hand sanitizer, and the top goes down, and one it shoots across the screen at people. They're supposed to catch it and fucking like sanitize their hands. But they need to be playing all skeet, whatever that comes up. It's absolutely hilarious.
When the drip comes off my balls. All right. Final fan submission for the Kendall Jenner team name, and my personal favorite leader in the clubhouse is Different Strokes, because they all fucked her.
I like Miami Skeet better. Miami Skeet better.
I'm voting for Enrique with that as well on the Miami Skeet. But we're out of here. That's another Crackbacks here. Now the world don't move to the beat of just one.